D-Day, The Big Red One by Patrick Holmquist. America enters the war.
The attack on Pearl Harbor shocked and enraged the American people. The time for isolation was clearly over. Now it was time for unity. Now it was time to fight. America's massive investment in ships, tanks, and the materials of war would bring an end to the Great Depression. It would also help unify a people through patriotism and sacrifice. The story of America's involvement in World War II continues in Part 2, The World at War.
D-Day. D-Day was the largest sea invasion in history. The Allies had an armada of about 5,000 ships, including streamers, merchant ships, warships, and landing crafts. D-Day was a planned day. D-Day is on June 6, 1944, on the shores of Normandy, France. The Allies had planned this for around 3.5 years. It almost was not going to happen because of the weather, but the weather had cleared up. This was a time where when they announced the invasion, everyone remembered when and where they were when it was announced. There were 5 shorelines captured from enemies. These shorelines were also known as beachheads. The beachheads were Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juneau, and Sword. My name is Sergeant Frankie Romano. I was a sergeant in the 1st Infantry Division, 16th Regiment. Our division was also nicknamed the Big Red One. During World War II, I fought at Omaha Beach. Omaha Beach is hard to capture because it has high, steep cliffs. This makes the beach easy to defend and hard to attack. Besides having tall stone cliffs, another physical problem Omaha Beach had was that when the tides would come in, we would have only a few yards to be on. Omaha Beach was one of the largest shores Normandy had. Germany knew this and put the strongest defenses there. My regiment, the 16th Regiment, came from the sea and landed on the west side of the shore. The 116th Regiment landed on the east side of the shore next to us. The way the Allies were able to know the details of what each shore looked like was by postcards. The Allied spies would take pictures or draw them of the shores and things around the shore. Then they would have them be made into postcards as disguises so that Germans didn't know what they were, and give them to the Allies so that they can piece together all the things near the shores. This helps the Allies a lot because they are able to make very detailed plans based on what they look like and will be prepared for what they will have to face. Before we went into battle, our General Dwight D. Eisenhower, gave this speech.
Soldiers, sailors, and airmen of the Allied Expeditionary Force, you are about to embark upon the great crusade toward which we have striven these many months. The eyes of the world are upon you. The hopes and prayers of liberty-loving people everywhere march with you. In company with our brave allies and brothers in arms on other fronts, you will bring about the destruction of the German war machine, the elimination of Nazi tyranny over the oppressed peoples of Europe, and security for ourselves in a free world. Your task will not be an easy one. Your enemy is well-trained, well-equipped, and battle-hardened. He will fight savagely. But this is the year 1944. Much has happened since the Nazi triumphs of 1940-41. The United Nations have inflicted upon the Germans great defeats in open battle, man to man. Our air offensive has seriously reduced their strength in the air and their capacity to wage war on the ground. Our home fronts have given us an overwhelming superiority in weapons and munitions of war, and placed at our disposal great reserves of trained fighting men. The tide has turned. The free men of the world are marching together to victory. I have full confidence in your courage, devotion to duty, and skill in battle. We will accept nothing less than full victory. Good luck, and let us all beseech the blessing of Almighty God upon this great and noble undertaking.
6:30. We go ashore. Us Americans decided to go at 6:30. This was different because we were supposed to go at 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock was exactly when Britain was going to attack. One of my admirals, Rear Admiral J. L. Hall, also did things differently from the British by unloading boats about 12 miles off the shore of Omaha Beach. 0730, we scaled the wall. Some of my friends in the 116th Infantry had the task at 0730 to scale the wall and capture the battery, but this plan failed. The right side of the 116th Infantry was wiped out. My friends were gone. The attack lasted all day long. Even though many soldiers were killed, we were able to draw the Germans' attention to us instead of the Rangers who climbed the wall and damaged the batteries. Two hours after we landed, it looked like catastrophe was going to happen. 55,000 V corps had come nowhere near clearing the exits in the bluffs. This was supposed to be done in the first hour after landing. We had a very small amount of equipment and a bunch of destroyed vehicles that sat on the shores of Omaha Beach. At 0830, our commanders had to call off all the landings because of the tides not leaving enough room on Omaha Beach's shore for us to fit our equipment and our troops on. 0900, we captured the Germans' defenses. By now we had disabled the guns with grenades and blew up the ammunition. The Rangers had 75% casualties, but beat them and held on to what was called Pointe de Hook. This was our first victory in Normandy. Given up. Our commanders had given up with all the hardships with the tides and capturing the German shoreline defenses. They felt we never would succeed. Then the news of the first penetrations inland came and our commanders decided to recommit to Omaha. By lunchtime we had taken the undefeated Vierville-sur-Mer. We then fought for St. Lawrence-sur-Mer, but that ended in stalemate. Colville-sur-Mer was the next place we fought at. This was one of the worst places for me to fight at because there was so much smoke from the warships that I couldn't see a thing. I think that some of the deaths came from friendly fire because I couldn't see through the smoke at all. D-Day in the end. I have to admit, on this frightening day we never did beat the Germans. All we did was make sure that they didn't throw us back into the ocean. We made them tired, we made them break up into small groups, and we made them fight for themselves separately. We have gotten closer to ending the war, but we did not get as far as we wanted to in this first day. But we still got close. We will still be able to resupply faster than they will be able to resupply. We will also be able to do this without being shot at while on the beach. The casualties on Omaha Beach were the highest out of the 5 shores in the invasion zone. Between my division and the 29th Division, there were around 2,400 Americans killed, wounded, or captured. The invasion of Omaha Beach was a victory for the United States. It did not beat the Germans immediately, but it did start their downfall. With all the other invasions going on the other beaches, it certainly felt like a victory for the United States. The Germans had lost around 20% of its total strength in this invasion. This was compared to the 7% of Americans that were lost. The United States and the Allies had won this battle mainly because of the amount of equipment and weapons they had. However, the main factor was courage. The United States commanders had given up on capturing Omaha Beach before they had really tried. Then they decided to commit to Omaha, and then the success happened. The invasions of Normandy's beaches were planned attacks. The part that made this day so shocking was that many people knew this day was coming. They just didn't know what day it would happen on. The invasion of Omaha Beach had a huge impact on the United States. By capturing the shorelines, the United States were able to resupply quickly and did not get shot at while on the beach. This helped them as they tried to get across France and liberate the people from the camps. When the United States first started fighting at Omaha, they did not really have the confidence to win the war. The victory at the invasion of Omaha gave the United States the confidence to fight this war. This not only helped the United States in World War II, but the Allies as well. After the war, in the 1980s, Warner Bros. Made a movie called The Big Red One. It was about a veteran war sergeant that served in World War I that led a squad in World War II. This movie takes you through it all and how they find out the true horrors of the war.
Some say it was the most powerful movie of its day. Others say it is the best war movie of all time. But all agree on one thing. There's more to the story. The seminal war movie of its time has returned, recut, re-envisioned, reconstructed, with 47 additional minutes, as director Sam Fuller originally intended. War is surviving. Experience the film that survived. Samuel Fuller's The Big Red One, The Reconstruction.